there's a million fine-looking women in the world, dude, but they don't all bring you lasagna at work. Most of them just cheat on you.
All right, chat. How we doing tonight? How are we all doing? Chat says decent music for once. There's always decent music before the stream. Because, A, I don't give a shit about copyright, so I just play whatever. Also, I play White Town Your Woman a lot. It's one of my favorite songs. Oh, man. It's also not one you hear played a ton. Like, it was big in 97 and it just sort of went away. Hell, I don't even hear it on the 90s station that much anymore. I've got the satellite radio. I'm on the 90s station because I'm old. Let's see. Do we still have Windows Capture working, guys? Let's see if we got Windows Capture. There we go. We do have Windows Capture. Good. We're going to need Windows Capture. Turn it off for now. So, I regret to inform you all that I now own a Funko Pop. I know. I already feel the need to consume soy milk. I was at an arcade tonight. I had a bunch of tickets, and this was the nicest thing they had, at least that I could get. So I have a Funko Pop now, guys. I know. I'm time to be. I'm gonna become that guy. Just a whole fucking basement full of them. I don't know. I don't really have any strong opinion about Funko Pops. I know they're a very divisive thing on the internet. A lot of people have a deep burning hatred of them. I'm a little annoyed by the sheer amount of fucking space at stores they take. Like, you go to a comic book store and it's fucking whole fucking wall of the damn things. But I don't really have a problem with them beyond that. A couple years ago, I actually had a couple of them. I had a Mega Man, Freddy Krueger, a Lara Croft. I might have had a couple others. I sold those all to some place when I was thinning things out. I'll probably get rid of this one at some point, to be honest. I've been on a Turtles kick lately, but I don't really have a ton of shelf space. I don't really have anywhere to put them. He'll probably get sold for store credit at one of these stores. How do Funko Pops help us win the culture war? I don't know. I'm not really in it for winning the culture war anymore, so couldn't tell you, but I don't know. I don't know how they do that. They probably do a better. They probably do more for the culture war than Steven Crowder pretending to not be gay, or Ben Shapiro, being a predatory Shylock. Did I patch things up with Arena yet? I did not. No, I'm sorry to tell you, chat. I'm sorry to tell you. I don't have any ill will towards him. I really don't. I mean, I'll laugh at him if he's doing something stupid. But I mean, you're allowed to laugh at people when they do stupid shit. You're allowed to laugh at me. You're allowed to say, "Hey, Beckloff owns a Funko Pop." You're allowed to do that. I think I still have a Spider-Man one, but I got him a long ass time ago, 2011. I want to say, because I wasn't in this house and I moved here in 2012, early 2012 at the latest. He's in a box in a closet somewhere. I don't have his box anymore, but that was back when they were all still fucking bobbleheads. He's an old ass one, and somebody gave that to me for Christmas. Again, I don't have any really problem with them. I don't understand the hatred they get. I mean, it's annoying, the sheer volume of them, but I don't. Like, everyone, they're not aesthetically pleasing. It's such a subjective thing. Like, I saw some video takedown where somebody was talking about, well, here's how I could prove the Funko Pops are trash. They're not as nice looking as what do they call those, Nendroids or whatever? Those, like, they're kind of like, I don't want to say bobblehead, but they're like big head chibi versions of various characters. But they're high-end figures that cost like $100 and have swappable faces and hands and tons of accessories and shit like that. It's like, yeah, I guess the $100 product is nicer than the $10 one. Thank you. Thank you for establishing. Oh, this chat saying soy loft. Exactly. I have a Funko Pop now. I have to go consume soy. I'm probably not going to hold on to it. I don't have anywhere to really display it. I would honestly love to, like, just have nothing but a shelf full of, like, Ninja Turtle shit right now, but I don't have the room. Yeah. But it was the nicest thing those tickets could, at the arcade could win me. Yeah. I mean, I probably could have gotten some other anime shit, but I didn't want that. I wanted the Turtles thing. I got something else from them a while ago. I got like a little like Turtles keychain that's very clear. They had like a whole set of these like very clearly bootleg keychains there. So I just set it on fire with a magnifying glass. I'll probably just sell it somewhere for store credit. I took them out of the box, but like there's nothing, like there was no tape on the box. So like I took them out, and they're going for, like, because it's based on like old Mirage Turtles, they're going for like some sort of comic book shading on them, and like the whole black half of them is black, and it just I didn't think he looked really good just because of how they did the shading on it. So it's like I had to put it back in the box. It goes right back in the box. So probably just gonna sell it. I wonder if that's Tom Bombadil asking if I patched things up already. He was on Kino... No, well, he wasn't. But his movie was featured on Kino Casino a couple days ago. They were making fun of it. I can't remember exactly how they came to it, because originally they were talking about some guy, T.R. Sarter, on Cozy, who is just an utterly pretentious faggot. Like, T.R. Sarter had, like, video... like... reviewing rum and scotch and talking about his silk pajamas and shit. Boy, so he's just black half. Sounds like our host. Well, no, I'm not half black. I just act black. Since I just watched an American Carol, I thought it was funny and free on Tubi. I've never actually seen it, but I haven't heard good things. Fuentes makes Rini look based again. Well, that he does. Nobody on Cozy isn't worth. There's nobody on Cozy that isn't worthless. Speaking of which, Ralph had a big old meltdown last night. He fucking had a fight with his wife. She was running off. She decided to run off with the daughter. Apparently, he patched things up, and he's claiming it was all a work. He was just tricking the A-Law. I just called my wife a worthless whore on the internet to trick the A-Logs. All right, Ralph. It's a bold strategy. Ralph is such trash. Ralph is virtually completely irredeemable, and he's still better than Fuentes. So he says American Carol is probably better than Velma. Well, I'm sure it's better than Velma. I don't think that's in dispute. Is that what I should do, Chad? Should I watch Velma and have a fucking hour-long video about how woke it is, guys? Oh man. Ralph apparently Forney says Ralph did admit to getting kicked off the plane. Ralph is trash. Like, honestly, I don't know much about his horse face wife, I guess now. But on the off chance you should hear this, for the love of God, just take that kid and get away from that fucking blubberous monster. Yeah. Ralph should not be allowed near children. Ralph shouldn't be converting O2 to CO2. Just as Ralph is my favorite performance artist since I was young. There's nothing performance art about it, though. Like, Ralph is just utterly trash. I mean, Fuentes is worse. That's the nicest thing you could say about Ralph. Yeah, Ralph is fucking good. It boggles my mind people still defend him. I don't understand how anybody's defending Fuentes, too. Like, fucking Andrew Anglin, who himself gives off massive serial killer vibes, was on Twitter the other day saying, "Oh, Fuentes is such a charismatic leader. Oh, we don't deserve such a charismatic..." Like, seriously saying this. It's just the need to touch grass fucking brigade. Forney says, "I guarantee you it wasn't a troll. They actually had a violent argument, got kicked off the plane." Of course they did. And look, most people, if they're having a fucking, rip snorting argument with their spouse, and that happens even in good marriages, you don't immediately go on Twitter and call her a whore. Address her by her maiden name and say, "I have no wife, just a whore pretending to be... I have no family, just a whore pretending to be my wife." Well, way to throw the kid under the bus, too. What did the kid do? It's a fucking baby. What A-logging did the baby do? Babies don't do anything but scream and shit and eat. Like, what did they... Uh-oh. Where's my celly blowing up? Who's blowing up my celly? It's a political call. Oh, God. I still get them from fucking both sides, too. Leave me alone. It's not you. Election was like 3 months ago. Leave me alone. Ah. It's just Fuentes is an obvious glowy, and his friends use him for Cozy. I mean, yeah, Cozy's an absolutely fed honeypot. It's funny, I super chatted Mersh on Nightwave a couple days ago. Just for shits and giggles, sent him a little $2 super chat. Which, by the way, you should all be super chatting me. What's going on there? And just was like, gun to your head, if you had to take ROTC to unauthorized or Cozy, what would it be? He's like, just shoot me. Yeah, fuck Ralph, man. Hopefully he gets beaten to death in Rome in Minecraft. No, not in Minecraft. In real life. I don't care if I lose a channel. I hope all the bad things in life happen to him. I wish Ralph no longer was. Like, what trash? What utter fucking trash heap of a human being? Alright, well. Let's see. I think British James wanted to call in. Sorry, they're chatting. Forney, I know you're listening. You can call in if you want to. On the Skype there. I know I'm still using Skype. So said I had to delete my PayPal because it kept getting hacked. How's your PayPal getting hacked? I know some people were deleting PayPal because, oh my God, they can do all these things to you, right? And it's like, you know, they take your money. It's like all of them can do that. Like, PayPal just, you know, accidentally said the quiet part out loud, but they can all do that. Let's see if my settings work.
Oh, sweet, I'm finally on.
Oh my God. Oh shit.
No, it's a sober James.
What the hell happened?
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, but I don't think anybody can hear me. God damn it. Chat can't hear me. I'm everything on OBS just all of a sudden. Chat, can you hear me? Because OBS is saying it can't hear me. Fuck. Speakers. Oh, shit. You can hear me. Okay. All right. Okay. Well, James, I guess they can hear us. OBS is all of a sudden saying that they can't hear me, but whatever. James, you still there? All right. Well, loud and clear.
Oh,
OBS
can you hear me
is
now?
literally like showing that like there's no sound.
Oh, am I coming through now?
As far as I can see.
Yeah. Yeah, my fucking headset gets a bit spurty with Skype for some reason. But yeah, how's everything going?
Oh, good. They say they can't hear James. Okay. Jesus Christ. This is fucking annoying. Okay, can you hear James now?
Oh, sweet.
Okay, now they're saying they can hear James. OBS is giving me nothing. You know how you get the little, I don't know if you used OBS, but you get the little, you know,
Yeah, little
bar
sound
in the
bars.
red, yellow, green. None of that is popping up right now.
Yeah, it doesn't
OBS
surprise
is
me.
telling me there's no sound going out.
Have you updated OBS recently? Because it usually breaks every time you update it.
I thought maybe turning on Skype broke it or something. Because I don't know.
I mean, how'd you
If
call
I
Matt
did this
Ford?
regularly or gave a shit about it, you know, like I would probably figure out another program other than this.
Yeah, we can do Zoom calls and we can have Matt Fordy with a cat emoji sort of skin when he does video cam.
Like the fucking lawyer. I like how Nick Rekieta has a painting of that cat, like in the background of his little studio.
It's a great video to watch though, when you've just got that soft southern accent coming out of the cat. It's like, oh dear, I'm a cat now.
I'm not a cat.
He's trying to convince himself and convince everyone watching he's not a cat talking about the law.
Hi.
Right, so the big question in the room, which I've had, which no one has been thinking about, it's only taken you 3 years to watch it. What's our thoughts on True Detective?
Oh yeah, I did. And you this might mildly piss you off, James. You want to know the God honest truth? That DVD you got me? I didn't actually watch it. I watched
God,
it
you
on
straight.
HBO Max.
Do
The
you know what?
DVD
There was
is
something a
still
bit.
sitting there sealed.
There was something a bit sus about the fact that you said, "Oh yeah, I've got seasons 2 and 3 lined up on HBO." I'm like, something kind of clicked in my brain back then, but it didn't fully click.
I literally like saw it pop up on HBO Max, and I was like, "Oh yeah, I need to watch that." That's right. So yeah, True Detective season 1 is fucking fantastic. I liked it a lot. I liked the tremendous amount of depth that they gave to the two characters. Like, you know, it would have been easy to make Woody Harrelson's character like just a straight-laced family man, or when you kind of reveal the darker side to him, make him just a shitbag pretending to be a straight-laced family man. But they really do like go in between that.
Well, there's a
Like,
change in the characters, how they go about, because you could say Russ starts off as the pessimistic tips fedora and becomes like. By the way, this is spoilers for True Detective. If you've not seen True Detective season 1, the show's been out for 11 years. I'd suggest turn the streamer off. But there's almost a switch around in characters where you've got kind of like a fake sort of pessimist. Like the one thing I always worry about shilling that show to someone, especially a Christian, is like, oh, Russ Coley's just like some stereotypical tips fedora. Oh, he's like the smart guy. But they kind of play in a way where, yeah, he is the smart guy, but he's still a fucking broken man. But he switches and becomes like the optimist at the end. It's a fucking weird dynamic. And same with Woody Harrelson's character. He's a straight Christian, but he's not a good person. But he's broken by the end of it. It's weird.
I love when that scene when they're finally busting the two guys out in Texas or whatever, like in the middle of the woods. And like he sees that, you know, the shipping container full of all the fucking 10-year-old prostitutes and shit like that comes out, and the guy that they have handcuffed just doesn't say a word, just walks up to him, just blows his brains out. And then you can see the moment, like after all that dust settles, when he's like, "Oh my god, like shit, what did I do?" And Russ, you know, the
Matthew McConaughey.
Yeah, Matthew McConaughey's character is like, no, it's fine. I'm glad to see you committing to something. Let's get the handcuffs off him. We have to make this look legit. Like, doesn't even think about it. Just completely like, okay, fine, whatever. We'll just make this look legit.
Yeah, it's fucking well acted, well executed. And I've always said this before. Detective shows to me are fucking boring. Like when you look at Law and Order or fucking Miami, like all these shows are so boring. I've always said this with detective shows. It's too. I think detective shows would work better in a less episode monster of the week sort of style. Like I understand, like Agatha Christie's got its kind of niche. Like remember, we're talking about Agatha Christie is technically like the second most sold author of all time, and there's a reason she is, because her stories are really good. But sometimes having a long form 8-hour story where you can explore characters and change motives and like it works.
Well, it was so much of TV, at least in the old days, can't expect you to have seen it all. So that's why you had the episodic format for so long. Nowadays, with everybody binging shit, and even HBO, I mean, you know, as certainly by 2012, if you had HBO, you had on-demand stuff, so you could catch it at your leisure, really. So that's when they switched from like the non-episodic things. I mean, I like some of the old Law and Orders, like the original Law and Order. Some of the SVU stuff early on was decent for what it was. I actually really like Criminal Intent just because Detective Gordon's awesome. But yeah, I mean, Law and Order certainly lived past its prime. That's for fuck sure. Especially SVU. Oh my god, SVU limped along towards the end.
What's the problem when you force a show too long? But I mean, I've noticed. I've always said this with people when I think 2000, or at least that kind of 1 to 2 year sort of like leeway, has kind of been a weird latch point between TV and film, because you get a lot of people that say film was way better prior to 2000 and it's dramatically, been worse since. Whereas I'd actually say that's fucking true to an extent. Like everyone will like suck the dick of 80s films or 90s films or 70s films, and that's fair enough. Yeah, everything post 2000, the quality has dropped kind of enormously. But I think TV's had kind of an opposite thing. I think TV is, even with pos loads and all that stuff, you look at the TV that's come out post 2000, I still think it's actually improved, but for different reasons. Because I always, I remember when I recommended, well, I wouldn't say I recommended, but you've probably always had ENT on the back burner. If you look at Star Trek Enterprise, it's a good example of how 2000 / that 9/11 period changed TV so much. Seasons 1 and 2 of Enterprise, it's kind of classic Enterprise, classic Star Trek stuff, which and it's always considered the weaker thing. And I'm not even saying that the original Star Trek element is weaker, but I'm just saying in terms of the new element, once they hit season 3 with the whole, let's be honest, it was basically a post 9/11 fucking arc. It's all the Xindi invasion, they blew up Florida or whatever bullshit. the show did improve dramatically because that's what the show needed.
Well,
Shame it
even
got
prior to
cancelled.
that,
But
I mean, Deep Space Nine finally reached a point around season 2 or 3 where it just said, you know, fuck it to the traditional TV formula, and it became just, you know, everything builds on every other episode.
yeah,
I mean, you can't just pop out, like, you know, having never seen any of it, just watch an episode from like season 4 of Deep Space Nine and know what the fuck's going on.
yeah. I suppose that's always been a weak. Like, as much as I would say DS9 I prefer over TNG, it's a weakness that TNG doesn't have. You can switch on almost any episode. Same with even TOS to an extent, even if it's hit and miss. You can still
there's strengths and weaknesses to it. I mean, there's something to be said for the, you know, really building upon itself and all, but at the same time, it is daunting. I mean, like, TNG is a perfect example. Like, something like True Detective, you have to just watch that whole season. You know what I mean? Or other shows like that. You got to just start at episode 1 and plow the fuck through. Where if I told somebody, like, I remember a buddy of mine started getting into TNG. He tried to give it a shot, and, you know, season 1 is just notoriously dog shit. And he's like, should I skip ahead? And I was like, yeah, go. And I just told him to watch, like, the Measure of a Man episode and the first Borg episode, like Q-Who. I'm like, if those two don't suck you in, then the show's not for you.
Yeah.
But you can't really do that to something like, you know, fucking Sopranos or Breaking Bad or whatever. You know what I mean? You can't be like, yeah, watch this random episode in season 4. It'll really, that'll hook you in. Like, you're not going to know what the fuck's going on.
Yeah. I mean, Ironic Corners in chat said the Sopranos changed everything. It 99, it kind of did. When you look at how TV moved on, even Dash and Rogue said Deadwood. If you've ever seen Deadwood's a great example of taking the episodic format to the extreme, because each season is basically each episode is a day. So it starts from dawn till dusk. So the next episode will be the next day, essentially, which I don't think any other TV shows really did prior to that because of the episodic format of just having monster. And I'm not even shitting on it. Again, X-Files is still an excellent watch up until season 5. The Monster a Week stuff, I still have a fucking soft spot for, and I still think has advantages. But post 2000, when you hit Sopranos, there's a reason why shows can go those long format arcs and where it works. But again, it's still got its weaknesses. I would like to see a mix of both shows, but I think unfortunately we're going to see more of.
Well, that's the entertainment industry. I mean, you can't. Yeah. They never are good at balancing. You know, if one thing's popular, it's what everybody's going to do, to the detriment of all else, until people get sick of it.
Yeah, I mean, I even warned you because when you mentioned, oh yeah, I've got seasons 2 or 3 of True Detective ready on HBO. My first reaction was, yeah, don't watch it.
Well, I watched I actually fired up like the first couple of minutes of season 2, and like Colin Farrell's in it, and I just was. I think it was like literally work. I had to go do, like, I was gonna go make dinner, and I just didn't start it back up. Matt Forney said you should probably watch the Lore episode in season 1. There's a couple episodes in season 1 of TNG I think are worth watching. The pilot is decent, at least by pilot standards. Even though it really doesn't matter and never comes up again, Conspiracy is a good episode worth watching.
Yeah.
And yeah, I kind of forgot the Lore one. I sort of thought that was season 2. Did Tasha Yar die in season 1, or was that the beginning of season 2?
I've never seen season 1 because I'm not a sadomasochist.
Well, you've seen the episode where the tar monster killed Tasha Yar, didn't you?
Loosely, maybe. I just can't remember which season it was.
I want to say that was early in season 2. By the way, the actor almost died in that costume. Literally, that costume was, they took a sheet and they soaked it in corn syrup and toner ink and just threw it over.
Skin of Evil, 23rd episode of the first season.
Oh, it's late in the first season, is it?
Yeah, okay. She got nuked near the end.
But, yeah, that actor almost died in that costume. He almost drowned.
Yeah.
Can you imagine how many showers that poor bastard had to take before he's just? If you've ever gotten toner ink on yourself, you know it's like 3 showers later and you can still kind of see it. That poor bastard was drenched in that shit from head to toe.
You know, as much as people shit on CGI, when you realize how much safer it is, and if you do it well enough, it works. Because I was looking at some of the early interviews with like the Thing, right? When they look at the chest burster monster in the Thing, where the guy uses the defib machine, and you realise that what is it? Not, I think it was Rob Bottin. I think he's done a few films since, but the guy was using for the chemicals that would sludge out from the monster. They were highly flammable, and the whole point of the scene is he'd eventually use a flamethrower on it. I'm like, yeah, I can shit on bad CGI all you want. I don't think anyone's ever had a really bad CGI monster that could have blown a set up.
I still contend. Again, it's just the nature of the entertainment industry. Something just inevitably gets overused. I don't think there's a problem with CGI. I think inevitably you want to have a good mixture of it. You know what I mean? Like CGI alongside practical effects always produce amazing shit. Jurassic Park is 30 years old this year. Still blows the hell out of half of what the movies they're making now. Because it's CGI and practical effects. Another good example is Doc Ock in Spider-Man 2. Every time you saw only part of the tentacle, that was a puppet.
Yeah. It's all about editing. That's the other thing as well. A lot of people forget. I've always the comparison I always make with effects in general, be it CG or practical, it's almost like a woman's makeup. If you can tell there's fucking makeup there, then you've already failed to an extent. The only way it works is if the makeup looks so fucking good that you're like, okay, cool, she doesn't look like a clown fucking sprayed fucking paint on her face. Like, covering blemishes. Like, there's plenty of... When I was looking at some of the editing stuff with certain films, where they said, oh yeah, here's this shot of this, here's like a 10-second clip of a chase scene, tell me what's CG and what's real. And then you realize, oh shit, most of the actual thing is CG, but you wouldn't expect it because it's subtle changes. That's what practical effects should be. Either it's got to be completely flamboyant, or it's going to be subtle. If you try and do like something middle ground, it can work, but when it comes to effects, unless it's something that's meant to look really fucking good, or something that's so like, extravagant, don't fucking bother.
There's something to be said too for just cinematography and how you edit things and how you shoot things. Like, a good example of that is the first Ninja Turtle movie. Like, those suits looked amazing, especially for the time, but the poor bastards in those suits could not move for shit. And you're supposed to make these characters look like agile fucking ninjas. And they do a reasonably good job of how they shoot scenes to hide the fact that the people in those suits could barely fucking move. The first Batman's a good example. I shouldn't say first, but the Michael Keaton Batman.
Yeah.
The first one people remember. Like, he couldn't even turn his fucking neck in that goddamn suit. And they still do a good job with cinematography of, like, that's not something you'll probably pick up on the first watch of that, certainly.
Yeah. The thing which I like about CGI, not CGI, but practical effects, it treats the practical effects as an actor unto itself. Because look, again, I'll use The Thing as an example. Rob Bottin, who did special effects in that film, had to argue constantly with the cinematographer because the cinematographer wanted to bring the thing out into a lighter sort of conditions to see the whole effect. But Rob Bottin's like, no shit, I can't do that because there's certain things which you can see. Put it in a darker sort of like a lens, have a darker setting, hide the thing, which kind of sounds almost counterintuitive. You produce this great practical effect and you want to kind of hide certain blemishes. Again, it's like a magician's trick with like sleight of hand. It's like, oh cool, I've got this card in my right hand but you're not looking at my left hand. There's certain balances with CGI. I think CGI is still completely, it's shat on enormously bad because of bad CG, but let's not forget the fucking 70s and 80s has got complete fucking... Remember, we're talking about a period where there was no CGI. There was plenty of bad practical effects.
Oh, God, yeah.
Everyone seems to forget that shit.
People want to paint it like, oh, movies today are just awful. And there's like, look, I get it. There's too many fucking superhero movies, but that's not even the fault of superhero movies. It's the fault of nobody's making anything else. I mean, there's a lack of creativity in a lot of corners of Hollywood, but when you get down to like the actual art of filmmaking, like yeah, it's a lot fucking better.
Yeah, shit's improved to an extent. It's just, again, techniques have not changed. Only the only thing that's actually probably changed for the worse in film is direction and the producers. You know, it's like I was again, weird for a Britishman to say this. I was looking at like gun YouTube or whatever, and someone was like saying, "Oh yeah, guns have been made worse in America since like the 40s." I'm like, this guy's like saying, "Well, how could it be worse since the 40s? You guys have improved on materials and stuff." It's like, no, there's a bunch of nostalgia fags who jerk off over MP40s and Car 98s and M1 Garans and assume that's they took the best of a period and assumed that was the only thing of the period. It's the same with everything, film and video games. When someone says like, "Oh, video games have only been good since the 90s, since the SNES or Genesis or, you know, fucking Atari 2600," it's like, no, you just picked the best things.
Well,
You probably don't even know. You don't even know what ET for the Atari 2600 is.
People get like things get overused, and so people just naturally like, oh, that's all bad. A good example is like I remember in the 80s and 90s in particular, you had a lot of superstar directors, and they all very much had their own visual style that was slapped over everything like a fucking, you know, signature. And you want to know that, and everybody looks back to that with such fondness. You want to know the God's honest truth though? That was sometimes obnoxious. Like there's a lot of directors that slapped their style over shit and stylized it way too fucking much. Tim Burton's a perfect example of this. Tim Burton is great when the studio puts him on a short leash and doesn't let him go goddamn insane.
Yeah, too much gothic has always been his kill.
And there's a lot of directors like that where it's like they need to be reined in. Like they slap their style over everything. And then you look at, again, everyone points to the Marvel movies because it's the only thing making money. Marvel Studios from the beginning kept directors on incredibly short leashes because they knew they were making this massive overarching project and they wanted things to feel consistent with one another. So directors were told, no, you're not gonna be super stylized. You're gonna paint inside the fucking lines. And you want to know the God's honest truth to me? That was refreshing. Now it's not now because MCU's been going on for like 20 fucking years now almost. Good God, like 15. But that was refreshing at first. It was refreshing at first to see an Iron Man movie or an Avengers movie that was about Iron Man or the Avengers, not about the director slapping his dick all over it. That was nice. Now, would I like to go back to a little bit more style? Yes, because, you know, everything gets old if you do it too much. So, yeah, I kind of want to see directors have a little bit more freedom now. It was kind of refreshing to see Sam Raimi's particular visual style over that new Doctor Strange movie, for example. It's just kind of like things go up and down. Things go in waves. Like, you can't just be like, well, no, it was always better when we did it this way. No, it was better for a while and then it got old. And then we did something else. And then it got old. And maybe we dust off the old thing and it seems fresh again. That's how art works. So yeah, everybody complains, well, directors don't have any freedom anymore. You know, I kind of, at least for a while, I was enjoying that. Because for a while, directors were having too much fucking freedom. Sometimes it got really annoying when you watch 3 seconds of a movie and it felt like the director was right next to you, nudging your elbow, going, "Hey, did you know this is mine?"
I can give you a clip that can decide that. So, do you know about the alien deleted scene with the alien that does a crab walk?
No.
So, Ridley Scott, I'm actually going to send you the link. You can play it. It's only 40 seconds long. It's if you remember Alien with is it Lambert and the black guy's fucking death. So this is the original death they had for the chick, the last chick who got killed. The alien does a fucking crab walk of all things, and the first thing the studio and almost everyone did was laugh and say, "Ridley Scott, you're drunk. Go home. Don't fucking do that." And apparently to this day, he's been fucking bitter he couldn't do this death because he thought, oh, the crab walk made the alien look more weird. But everyone fucking laughed at it. I'm going to send it to you. You can play it on stream. It's so fucking stupid, but Ridley Scott has apparently, he's been to this day, he's like, no, this was the correct way to play the alien.
Sometimes these directors got to be told no. Like, sometimes you got to be told no. And there's certain, like, Tim Burton's a great example, again, getting back to him, because guess what? Every time Tim Burton takes something that is coming from a previous source material, he doesn't give a damn about the source material. He just wants to do his own fucking thing. And just, like, the first Batman was a good example of him doing that well, because the studio kept him on a short leash. But the second Batman, he turns into a bizarre fetish film that starts with a baby nearly getting drowned. You know, they gave him Planet of the Apes, and he went completely goddamn bonkers. Like, sometimes he's got to be told, no, Tim, you're not doing that. That's fucking weird. That doesn't belong here.
I still like the second Tim Burton Batman film. No, I won't apologize for Planet of the Apes. That was a pile of shit.
Oh my god, that's so bad.
It's fucking atrocious. Like, the full remake of the Planet of the Apes films have been mixed. Like, when you had the original, like, was it fucking James Franco? I never actually saw the James Franco Planet of the Apes remake, but I saw, like, the 2 sequels, and they were fucking pretty decent. But holy fuck, was a remake bad, because it was almost like it was amplifying the bad cheesy effects of the, like, remember, it's from the fucking set, it's fucking Charlton Heston.
The first Planet of the Apes is good, but yeah, the 9 sequels to it, Planet of the Apes should not have been a franchise, let's be real.
War of the Planet of the fucking Apes, or, like, there's fucking, you know, I understand it's probably a decent enough franchise to make maybe 1 or 2 sequels, but when you've got 5 or 6, and it's not worth it.
You know, the other thing I see people complaining about now, like I saw Critical Drinker complain about this. Oh, the death of the movie star. Oh, let us all lament the death of the movie star. I saw the guy that played Falcon complaining about that once, where he's like, you know, Howard Mackey, I guess is his name or whatever. He's like, Howard Mackey's not a star. The Falcon's a star. I'm like, fucking good. You know what? Fucking good. Because actors fucking suck, and they're shitheads, and they're dipshits. And you know what? They shouldn't be stars. How about that? How about fuck you? How about we just focus on the fucking characters they play and nobody sucks their dick for a while? That would be great. Because then I don't have to hear them complaining about my carbon footprint when they're in a private jet. That would be fucking great if no one gave a shit about actors anymore other than just them just doing their job.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I don't... Was it really any better when instead of going to see a Star Wars movie or a Marvel movie or a blank franchise movie, was it really any better when we went to go see a Schwarzenegger movie or a Tom Cruise movie? Most of those movies suck too. We remember the good ones, sure, but like, you know, oh, I like this guy in this last movie, so I'll go see this other one. Oh, well, it was actually shit.
Yes, it's always bred in circuses to an extent, but again, I'd even say with the modern blockbuster, that's been fucking nuked to the ground. I still think Avatar 2 is a psyop. The fact that I've never met anyone in real life, and this is my challenge to you. Maybe it's just Brazilians who watched the film. Have you met anyone in real life, Chris, who's watched Avatar 2?
I don't know anybody who saw it. And, you know, I can't say the same with the first one. I remember we all saw the first one. We all liked it. And we all forgot it happened 3 months later. That's what happened
I never saw
with
the first one in cinemas. I can be proud of that. I don't have AIDS. Even
people who claim that they hated Avatar when it first came out, like they saw it and they were like, that was fun. And then they never thought of it again. That's what happened with Avatar. Yeah. So I remember that. I don't know who went to go see Avatar 2. Nobody I fucking know.
Yeah. Avatar 2. Name me someone you've met. It's not happened, but this film's already made $2 billion. But I could name you at least 6 people I know who saw Top Gun 2, and that made half the money.
Yeah, I know a lot of people saw Top Gun 2. I don't get.
Like, I'm not shilling it. But the point is,
not just people online where you'd expect it, like Critical Drinker and shit like that. But I had like 3 people I know tell me I need to go see Top Gun 2 because it's not woke, it's based. And I'm like,
at least 3 of those people.
I don't know about the second. I don't know about the second one, but I know the first one is homoerotic Pentagon propaganda. The first one is so fucking. The whole reason the first one has that sex scene in it is I'm convinced the first cut they looked at it and go, "This is way too gay. We need to make it a little more subtle."
Can I just say this right now? I'm not even shilling Top Gun. Well, actually, no. I'm gonna unironically shill it. Every person who I've known who's seen I've never seen Top Gun 1 because I don't care. Like, I'm even of the camp. I think Cobra Kai is better than the first Karate Kid film. I think the first Karate Kid film sucks dick. I don't even think it's that fucking good.
Yeah, I never watched Cobra Kai because it's like, oh, well, aren't you nostalgic for Karate Kid? I'm like, fucking no.
Yeah, because the first film is fucking kind of meh.
Well, I was also I was a pretty little kid when Karate Kid came out, and when people were still renting it a lot and all. And I just remember as a little kid, I'm like, this movie isn't funny. There's no to my little kid brain, I'm like, nobody's saving the world or something. So who cares? Who cares if some random kid wins a karate tournament? Who the fuck cares?
And he cheated.
And then I would go back. I went back and watched it as a teenager. Like, I'm getting into film as a teenager, being all pretentious. And I watch it. I'm like, this kind of sucks. This is boring. Like, I don't get it. So yeah, I've heard everybody tell me I should go watch Cobra Kai, and it's like, okay, but like, this thing is nostalgia baiting me for something I could not give a shit about.
That's fair.
I'd sooner go watch Fuller House. Because I have more fond memories of Full House when I was a kid.
Again, I watched, I'm not even shilling it, I watched Cobra Kai without even caring about Karate Kid. Because it was at least decent. Remember, it was also, if you remember when YouTube Red was a thing, do you remember when they were trying to shield TV shows?
Yeah, Cobra Kai was originally a YouTube exclusive, a YouTube Red exclusive.
Yeah, and I would actually unironically say it's probably one of the best fucking streaming shows right now, and it was to be a YouTube Red exclusive, that's like almost being, you may as well say I'm a leper and my fucking left arm's gonna come off. No, it's gone. It doesn't exist. It's not existed for like 3 years probably.
Because Cobra Kai went to like Netflix or some shit, didn't it?
Oh yeah, yeah. YouTube Red had the first season of Cobra Kai, and then I think Netflix bought it, and then YouTube Red was like, yeah, just fuck it, we gave up.
I always forget which one is exclusive to which streaming service because I basically have all the major ones because I got the old man off cable, and I was like, I'm just gonna get you all the streaming services. That's way less than cable. I don't want to hear it that you can't find shit. If you can't find shit, then you're not allowed to watch it.
Yeah, it's not worth. I mean, Netflix, Amazon Prime is the only two I use. HBO would be worthwhile, but again, I don't really care. I'm not gonna lie, I watch more on fucking Revenge of the Sith than I do any other fucking platform. So
I got HBO
really
Max, Amazon Prime, Netflix, Hulu, Disney Plus. And I got fucking Motor Trend for the old man. I think those are the only paid ones. There's a couple free ones on there. Like I got Rumble and YouTube, and Tubi's really nice for free stuff. But those are the paid ones. And I mean, like, that's more than enough. Like, I don't want, when he complains he can't find something, I want to hear it.
Yeah, because cable's a fucking meme. When, oh yeah, 999 channels, and then you got 200 channels. Half of it's gay porn, and then the other half is fucking God TV. You're not watching that.
Yeah, I often Paramount Plus is the other one I have that's paid. I remember because I've actually been watching a lot of Star Trek and Ninja Turtles on there.
Yeah, I mean, it's the problem when you live with boomers. You can't exactly shill Pirate Bay Plus to them.
Well, I don't know how to get any. Like, I know how to pirate shit on the laptop. I don't know how to do it on the Roku, and I can't get him to watch something on the computer. Like, he's actually likes JonTron now that I can put JonTron on the TV. Now it's real to him. Like, I don't know what else to say. Like, until it went on the TV, it wasn't really something to watch.
You just get him into obscure YouTube. Could we get him into ER?
Azalea Rosie says, I've never seen eye to eye with this channel on movies. I don't know what to tell you. It's my opinions. I have a lot of unpopular movie opinions. You want to know another unpopular movie opinion? The 1998 American Godzilla is not that bad. It's really not.
What, the one with the guy who ran over someone in Dublin? Yeah, that's not a bad film.
Like, I can understand hardcore Godzilla fans not liking it because of how much it's changed, but if you just take it as just a monster movie, it's pretty decent.
Yeah,
Not
that's
only
the
that,
thing.
I'll argue this with Godzilla fans. In a way, that version of Godzilla is way more scary. Because think of how
especially
close
the babies and stuff.
in that 98 Godzilla movie things came to just civilization ending shit. Like, oh my god, it had 100 babies, and they're all gonna grow up to be a big monster that are all gonna have 100 babies, and as soon as they hatch, they're hungry fucking velociraptors. Like, I'd rather live in a world with virtually any other incarnation of Godzilla than the 98 one, because that's world-ending shit.
Yeah. But the problem
That's
is you have
6
to rely
months
on
away
Leon,
from
the professional,
we're all
to do it.
doomed. Somebody in chat says Ghostbusters is worse than Karate Kid. That is an absolute lie. You should shut
It's an
your
objective
mouth.
wrong opinion.
That is the definition of a wrong opinion. You are lucky God himself does not strike you down.
The Karate Kid is...
Ghostbusters
Right,
is a near flawless movie. Karate Kid is boring and gay.
The Karate Kid, this is why I put it with Top Gun. It's quintessential to the 80s fucking icon. I'm trying to think of the right term for it. The iconography, you know, like the fucking sort of, oh, you think of the 80s, what do you think of? Like, everyone thinks of Top Gun, it's 80s shit, but when you watch it, it's like, yeah, this is kind of shit. And this is what I'm saying with people that watch the fucking sequel, everyone almost said, yeah, the original film's actually kind of shit.
It's garbage. It is pure.
They universally say it.
I don't say this lightly. It is pure 100% Pentagon propaganda. There's actually been studies that, like, when recruitment budgets go up, Top Gun starts playing on cable more, like throughout the 90s.
Yeah,
that was actually something someone proved at one point. Like,
I'm actually still worried the fact that Top Gun could actually show people to join the army.
I have no doubt that maybe not now because of how, probably a few people, but like, I don't know. If I had an 18-year-old son and he told me, Dad, I'm going to go join the army, I would take my 45 out and I would shoot him in the kneecap. Like, take me to jail if you must. I saved your life.
Yeah, if you're going to join the army, at least do it during the early 90s where the enemy can't shoot back. Like, imagine if you wanted to join the army now. It's like, oh yeah, cool, we have to face Russian T-90s.
Like, no, you're not gonna go die in Iraq for no fucking reason. You're not gonna go die in the Ukraine.
Yeah, Chris, why do you think my favorite war film was Zulu?
Azalea Rosette says, and I kind of agree with this, Blade Runner is overrated. It's the most overrated movie in all geekery. And I don't care that it's because it did the shtick first and everybody else copied it. I just don't care. Yeah, look, Blade Runner's a good movie. Is it overrated? Yeah, I would say it's overrated.
Well, it's style. I mean, it did invent if you say Blade Runner 3 times in a mirror and say it's shit, fucking Underdog comes out and tries to stab you to death. But
that or Razor Fist.
Yeah.
Well, that Razor Fist comes out if you say you like the Blade Runner sequel.
I didn't mind the Blade because Blade Runner is aesthetically an excellent looking film. It's like 2001 Space Odyssey, a great looking film. Did I try to watch the film 4 times and then fall asleep? Yes. I eventually got there. I only took on the 5th attempt to actually watch it and realize, oh shit, the big kind of 16:9 thing is actually a TV screen. That was worth me. That was worth me wasting 3 hours of my fucking life watching this film to say it was a good film.
I'm gonna say it. I know every film buff will hate me for saying this. Stanley Kubrick's fucking overrated. Another director that just needed to be told no a bit more.
The funny thing is, his best films are the ones that are never shielded by the fart huffing weirdos who don't do it.
He does amazing cinematography. There's no getting around that. But there's a whole bunch of story beat ideas that he shoved into stuff that made no sense and were retarded. Like, and 2001: A Space Odyssey is a perfect fucking example of that. There's some brilliance in that fucking movie, and there's a whole bunch of goddamn nonsense.
Yeah.
Just utter ridiculous horse shit.
Remember,
that doesn't make sense, but it feels like it's saying something, so nobody wants to admit they don't get it. No, I totally get it. You're just not smart enough. No, you don't get it because it's not actually saying anything.
Remember, this is how brilliant 2001 is on an aesthetic level. 2001 is a great looking film we'd all agree on, right? So look at that film came out, what, 1950s, 1960s? I can't remember the exact release date. But Star Wars comes out in 77 and is arguably the best science fiction film or sci-fi opera up to that point. So then Gene Roddenberry in 79 thinks, fuck it, let's make a big blockbuster version of Star Trek. But instead of actually making a decent action-packed film which everyone can watch, why don't we copy 2001, that failed fucking film that's about boring shit that nothing happens but is still good looking, and everyone wonders why the motion picture of Star Wars Trek is probably the worst film ever fucking made.
The motion pictures, Star Trek the motion picture is so fucking
that
bad.
film was inspired by 2001.
Exactly. It's somebody was like, oh, this one did a bunch of boring long shots of nothing, so I'll do that. That's what the people want. Gotta give the people what they want.
No, that's the worst thing. No one wanted it. Everyone wanted Star Wars, and everyone turned up to Star Trek 1, the first film, and they thought, wait, where's the Death Star? Wait, we're getting 2001 again? It's probably Gene Roddenberry is a fucking spastic.
Chad's saying that Kubrick improved The Shining, that the book's no good. I like the book a lot. But I will say that there's a lot of things in the book that, you know, there's things you can do in a novel that you can't do that well in a book. So, yeah, it needed changed.
Not Spielberg, King's a bit of a weird case. I actually think his best film adaptations have not been horror films. If you consider that his best non-horror adaptations are technically some of the best films ever made, like Shawshank or Green Mile, I'd actually say his film adaptations aren't that great. For horror films, anyway, aren't that great.
Chad's saying that, yes, I know there was the 90s Stephen King miniseries based on The Shining, and it wasn't good, but it wasn't good because it was on network fucking TV. And it hadn't, there weren't the effects to do anything, and they had to pussify everything in it because it was on network TV.
Yep. Well, that's an excuse, right? What effects did The Shining need in the film?
Well, there was no certain big effects, like there's
aside
the
from
scenes
the period
where
scene.
The hedge, the hedges were shaped into animals and they start moving. That is, even at the time, horrendously bad CGI. In 1996, I thought that looked like horrendously, or 97 or whenever it was, I thought that looked like horrendously bad CGI.
Yeah, but are we talking about in the TV? Well, I've never seen the TV show. Is this in the TV show or the film?
Well, remember in the
because I don't remember any CG in the film.
They did all those mini-series movies basically in the 90s with Stephen King shit. It started with It, but they did a ton of those. Everyone remembers It, but they did half of Stephen King's fucking books on TV. And they did The Shining. It was a 3-part miniseries, which it was too fucking long.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. You're saying practical effects and price. This is where I don't get. The Shining doesn't need a big budget. You just need a fucking house, or at least build a house.
There's certain things that again, showing big giant hedge monsters moving around is something you need some decent special effects for. And I'll be honest to you, it would have looked better if they'd have stop motioned it.
Yeah.
Because you know what? Stop motion always has this really, because of the lower frame rate, it looks unnatural when you have that lower frame rate. And to a fucking bush that's been animated by demons or whatever, it's going to look like having it be kind of jerky and unnatural would have been more unnerving. But no, they're like, we got these new computers, and it sucked.
Yeah. See, the
the people that make Reboot let us borrow their fucking software.
It's funny you mentioned the frame rate and stuff because when I was watching the did you ever watch the Ash versus Evil Dead TV show they did?
I watched about the first 6 or so episodes, and I really liked it, but it was one of those things where I didn't have stars that it was on at the time. So I only had like 6 episodes on demand, and I just kind of lost track of it. Like, it's been one of those things I've been meaning to finish. But...
Don't bother. They cancelled the show, and it's bullshit, and Bruce Campbell's a faggot for not carrying the thing on. But anyway, point is, there's a monster you see in the show that does that kind of frame rate jittery stuff. That the Uncanny Valley is an excellent fucking way of making a great monster with a little budget. Like, if you can, again, look at when you even do top quality stuff, like look at RoboCop. That's a great example with Ed 209. That's all stop motion stuff.
Yeah, and it looks
but it's so fucking well done.
So it works.
But it doesn't look too bad even for jerky. It's not exactly like is it Clash of the like look at the original Clash of the Titans of the '60s with the skeleton monsters. That's fucking uncanny when you watch that.
You know the funny thing about that Ash show you reminded me? So a little bit after Freddy versus Jason, right? They wanted to do a sequel of Freddy versus Jason versus Ash. And they had a screenplay ready, they had the rights ready, and they approached Bruce Campbell, and this would have been like 04.
And he said no.
05-ish. And he said at the time, I'm too old to play that character.
Yeah.
10 years later, he didn't feel that way anymore.
I have no respect for Bruce Campbell.
But the reason he, I know that exists is because they turned that script into a comic book. And it's way out of print right now. Like, even the trade paperback online is like $100. But it was pretty damn good. And it would have made a fucking fantastic movie.
Yeah.
In fact, it actually... You know that quote-unquote soft reboot of Friday the 13th that MTV Films, of all people, fucking produced in the late 2000s?
I've not... I can't remember it, but I think I have seen
They call it a reboot, but it kind of feels more like a back-to-basics sequel. I always thought that it just kind of took place after Freddy vs. Jason, and I heard somebody say, well, why doesn't he have his hockey mask? And there's literally a fucking explanation for that in the fucking Freddy vs. Jason vs. Ash comic. Like, at the beginning, he doesn't have a fucking hockey mask for some reason. But it always kind of felt like a back-to-basics sequel to me. It's my favorite Jason movie, aside from the one where he's in space and fights a robot dominatrix. That is objectively the best one. For obvious reasons.
The thing with Jason, the fucking story works almost like on a Bond-esque level. You could just have it in a different period. So yeah, you start off in the 70s and you've got a bunch of teenagers getting naked and there's no phones. And then, yeah, cool. You can have the 90s and then you can have the noughts and then you can have futuristic Jason where everyone's got nanobites. It's the fucking I think Jason, unironically, is the James Bond of villains because it fucking works in any setting.
Jason,
even fucking
X. Setting aside again the Back to Basics sequel that's just called Friday the 13th. I think it was 09 that came out. And setting aside Freddy vs. Jason, Jason X is my favorite Jason movie. Because I don't like Friday the 13th that much to begin with, but like Jason X is just fucking fun. From beginning to end.
Yeah, just a good
like that movie has no interest in being anything other than like, what if this cool shit happened too?
Yeah, there's also the point of what do people expect from a film. It's the biggest problem I actually had with the Friday the 13th, not Friday, the Nightmare on Elm Street remake, right? I don't know if did you ever see the remake?
I did see it.
I think if it did one slight change, it would actually be a great film. And it was the fact that if he wasn't a paedophile and it turned out he was innocent and he was just a cunt, just trying to enact revenge, which was
they kept early on. They kept making it seem like he was innocent. Which, I mean, if you're gonna do a remake, put your stamp on it.
That would have been a great plot twist, and that would have been kind of valid.
I mean, Nightmare on Elm Street has more consistency than most of these. Most Nightmare on Elm Streets are at least decent.
Oh, like, yeah, fucking
Freddy's Dead is probably the only one I would genuinely call a bad movie.
Yeah. Yeah, most of the Freddy films are fucking because again, it's a fucking way better. Like, we're talking about a character that improves over time. Like, there's always it's almost like that Evil Dead 1 to Evil Dead 2 sort of thing, where it's like the first one was dark and serious, and then when you hit the sequel, it becomes a bit more light-hearted, and that's where the film that's where the franchise picks its sort of kind of characteristic up. Because let's be honest, I like the Evil Dead, the full reboot they did. Was it back in 2011?
Yeah, that one's not bad.
That's a fucking decent enough film. But if you're gonna do something Evil Dead related, it's got to be fucking corny, and it's got to have that Sam Raimi cheese to it. You've got to have.
And I approve of that remake because they kept the tree rape scene, which is of course the most integral part of Evil Dead mythos.
Yeah,
I would give that movie 4 tree rape scenes out of 5.
Yeah. Only 4. There was a lot more going in.
It wasn't perfect, but that's a solid score.
I saw at least 6 branches going in.
Yeah, if it doesn't have the tree rape scene, what am I supposed to jack off to? At the end of the day, really.
Yeah, it's like she's the equivalent of 3 bowling balls.
Oh, Lordy. God damn it. How long have I been... I've been going on for over an hour and nobody has sent me a super chat. You know what? I am a whore. And
I would, but I've only got 3 bongs to my name. If you do next Sunday, I'll give you 50 bongs instead.
50 bongs.
You could translate that to US currency if you want.
Y'all just not... With my OBS that's still telling me nobody can hear us. The OBS is still like, no, there's no sound.
Well, I see there's a lot of mechanics in live chat because all I see is wrenches.
I give like everybody a wrench. I don't give a shit.
I've not even got a fucking... Don't give me a wrench because I will just ban every moderator you have.
Like, I really... I don't understand people who are like so uptight about their chat. Like, I understand if you're doing this for a living, it can be like, I can't have people's, end towering in there. I'll get in trouble. Fine. But, like, people are like, I need my chat to have a certain fucking level of decorum. My chat can't disrespect. Like, who the fuck cares?
Well, I mean, if you go to a consistent basis, one moderator is enough as long as they're not, like, the equivalent of the... As long as they're not the equivalent of, like, the fat dude who's, like, sleeping while the... when you see those generic heist movies where you've got, like, the guard who's, like, he's got his feet up, the TV monitor is clearly showing the guys running over across the monitor screen. Like, as long as you've not got that equivalent of a moderator...
You heard of Jesus?
Oh, here we go. Chicken Chief says, how much for you to watch an episode of Velma? Champ, you're going to have to move that decimal point 1 slot over for me to be watching fucking Velma. Like, I don't want to. I don't want to on principle. Now, it's not even that it's going to be so painful, because it's probably like not something that I'll have a hard time getting through. It's not something that's going to bother me. You know what I mean? It's not like watching, I don't know, like Owen Benjamin or something where it's like, this is just deeply upsetting. That said, though, I don't like this. I'm so sick of this whole fucking infrastructure, this cottage industry of, look at me tear apart the woke thing. I'm so sick of that shit online. Like, I'm so sick of the fact that I scroll up and down my YouTube feed and it's nothing but like Velma's bad guys videos for like a week solid. Like, shut up. Honest to God. That does benefit the show. Just so we're clear. That does benefit the show. That does prop up shit that shouldn't be propped up. And then Mindy Kaling can go running around talking about how she's a fucking victim and all this other shit. Like, we could live in a world where her stupid cartoon and her whole shitty career just fade away and nobody cares. That's a world we could live in. All right? She's a shitty diversity hire, and in her heart of hearts, she knows this. And that's why she's so bitter. And she doesn't even deserve your hate. She doesn't deserve your attention. It's like the fucking billboards that came to life in The Simpsons. Just don't look. And then they die. So yeah, am I a whore? Will I sit down and watch an episode of this dumb shit if you pay me enough money? Abso-fucking-lutely. But it's got to be a lot, because I don't want to. I really don't.
You said 1 decimal point, and he gave you $10. So I'm assuming it's not $1. It's going to be $100 to watch it.
Just so we're clear on which direction we're moving that decimal over.
The thing is,
I sent a super chat to somebody. I think it was like Mersh or something, where I'm like, "How much to get you to eat make and eat Aunt Myrna's party cheese salad?" And he said something like, "You're gonna have to add some zeros to that." And I sent another super chat, and it was like, I think like $2 or something. And I'm like, "What's a decimal point?" So technically, there's infinite zeros behind it.
Yeah, it could work. Well, that's the food challenge. We'll have to fucking. Do you know what?
I would rather make and eat Aunt Myrna's party cheese salad than watch Velma. That seems less whorish to me.
Well, actually, I wanted your opinion because, fuck it, I'll say his name, Napoleon. What's your thoughts on the idea of having a peanut butter sandwich with cheese?
That sounds disgusting. Who would do such a thing?
Well,
it's
Napoleon
like the cat
did.
bug clip. Why would you do that?
And I kind of tried it, and it actually doesn't taste too bad.
Well, I mean, you're British. If it's
Yeah,
if
but
it's not
it
a
should
boiled
work.
goose anus on beans and toast, then it's probably
Wild
delicious.
goose. I'm not I don't fuck kids. I'm not aristocracy. Wild goose anus. What's the weight in that? That's like fucking fish eggs for the what was it, caviar?
Beans and
Here's
toast served with a
Yeah,
boiled goose anus.
Yeah, it costs you 200 bongaboos to have this fancy toast. It's the finest bloomer loaf. It's spread thinly. We've got the goose anus.
I like that scene in Captain America 2, where like Sam is asking him like, "What do you think about the present day?" And it'd be so easy to write like Cap just grumbling about things are different and I don't like it, but he's just like, "Well, the food's better. We used to boil everything. That wasn't good." And he's like, "There's no polio. That's nice." Like he's just like, "Yeah, the future's not so bad."
Well, I'm surprised he said, "Why is the guy giving me orders black?"
We'll just get. You know what? I always thought it would be great to write Captain America as like racist and sexist, but not like in a malignant way, but in just a casual, like he's like goes up to Nick Fury. He's like, "I just think it's great for a Negro to be in such a great position as you." Doesn't. He's not being ignorant. It's just like calls Black Widow sweetie and shit like that.
Yeah. You got your agent card like, wow, they give agent positions to people that wash clothes.
But he's just like, well, that's just great for you. Like he's just.
Yeah, he's like, what did they expect a character like him to say?
Credit to your people.
And the worst thing is, he's meant to be Captain America of World War II. It's like, even Hitler's thinking, like, slow down. Even I gave Jesse Owens some credit.
Honestly, I feel like the only thing where he'd just be, like, upset about it is all the gay shit. Like, everything else, he'd be like, oh, well, that's just fantastic. And then it's like, what? Those two dudes are kissing. Throws his shield.
Yeah. Yeah, chat. We didn't need a rooftop for this one.
What the fuck? And it's like, well, Cap, you didn't mind when those two girls were kissing. That's different.
Yeah. No. In all fairness, I'm not a Christian, but the Bible does say when two men lie together, it does say men exclusively.
Well, yeah, because everybody loves a little girl on girl.
Yeah. Every woman is bisexual with enough alcohol.
You can't convince me otherwise.
Yep.
If a woman is like, no, I'm 100% straight, I will look her dead in the eyes and go, I don't believe you.
Yeah. There's a love potion for women. It's called a Jaeger bomb.
Oh, yeah, I'm so straight. Like 3 drinks later, just Fucking sucking on some chick's titties at the bar.
Yeah. That makes me actually think. I mean, on the off chance, maybe they sexuality is very liquid. I too would like a titty on my mouth.
It's the old joke. It's like I slept like a baby last night. I woke up screaming, wanting a titty in my mouth several times. Somebody says Beckloff likes Evil Dead because he's always been fond of the Vine Whip. That's right.
I will actually still stand by the Evil Dead series of films. Anyway, is the only horror film franchise with no bad films.
It also introduces the multiverse before other.
Yeah, technically to an extent, yeah.
Evil Dead 2 takes place on Earth 2.
And not to mention the fucking. Have you ever seen the alternate endings to Army of Darkness?
Is that the? I seen the alternate ending where like he goes too far, and like
yeah, and somehow you've got
like apocalypse and everyone's dead.
Yeah, everyone's dead, and you've got somehow you've got Vegas, London, and Paris all in the same fucking square kilometer. When he's like, "Oh shit, I said too many words." It's so fucking stupid, but it's so Raimi-ish. I love it. Yeah, why is Big Ben next to the fucking Great Pyramids?
I actually saw it, and it's not like I thought it was like stupid clickbait, but they actually did ask Tobey Maguire if he'd want to do Spider-Man again, and he said yes. And I kind of was thinking of that. I'd like to see like Kristen Dunst and Tobey Maguire do like a Spider-Girl movie where it's like his daughter, like that one like possible future comic. Like that would actually be kind of a cool thing that is sort of fresh to do.
Yeah, but that would require the current crop of writers to actually have talent.
Yeah, maybe
and you're asking
maybe we
a bit
can
too
do
much.
that instead of pushing Miles Morales for the 14th fucking time. Nobody likes him. Nobody will. Miles Morales, the character people pretend to like.
Yeah, Morales. Yeah, Napoleon's like, "Don't you slander my food."
Oh fuck, dude! I want cheese. I want cheese and peanut butter. Like, I should take the wrench away from
you know
that.
what? I'm actually going to do a cooking video on the Discord. It's going to be Wensleydale on cheese with peanut butter, and it's going to be a toasty.
I love sending Aunt
I'm
going
to make sure to at you as many times as I can.
I love sending Aunt like anytime like streamers are like send them some money and they'll watch a video. I love sending them that fucking video. Like seeing people react to that to the first time is amazing to me.
It's a fucking weird mess.
Oh, he supposedly had a fucking stroke. Somebody DM'd my good buddy Andrew Banner on Twitter. Which, by the way, folks, if you want to send me a message, you can DM my good buddy Andrew Banner on Twitter, books_Andy. He'll make sure I get it. Yeah, somebody DM'd him and said that Jack had a fucking stroke recently and is almost dead.
Wait, so he's had another stroke?
Yeah, another one apparently.
Yeah. That's probably because his wife is trying to kill him for the insurance money.
He had Have you noticed it? Like at least in recent videos, his hand, like an action figure will have like its hand in a certain pose. You can put like a gun or a sword in it. You know what I mean? Where it's kind of like gripping but open. You know what I mean? It's not a fist, but it's like that pose on an action figure hand where it's gripping something. Jack's hand is always in that position. He stroked himself to having kung fu grip.
Oh god. Oh.
Somebody says Josh Moon watched the Aunt Murder's Party Cheese Out recently. It's an amazing video. Like I hope people are mirroring that so it can get saved after like Jack's channel goes away eventually. Like what? Oh. I love the line too where he's like, I can't believe it's so sweet, and it's like he dumped a giant can of pineapples in a whole tub of Cool Whip.
Yeah, why is it so sweet? Why does my right leg smell of almonds? Oh no, it's fucking diabetes.
God, I also love the fact that like, and this is all his videos, he doesn't measure anything ever. Like you've heard the expression cut, measure twice, cut once. His expression is measure never, fucking YOLO.
Yeah.
He just dumps like whole cans and whole tubs of shit, and just heaping spoonfuls of shit into his fucking.
Yeah, like when I've done meal prep before, I always get wary, especially when someone says, "Oh yeah, you need a jar of this stuff or whatever," and I'm like, "Okay, cool," but you need a specific amount of meat, and this guy clearly doesn't compare the amount of meat or whatever the fuck protein he's using to the jar of store-bought dog shit he's fucking pouring on it.
It's certainly not, like binging with Babish or something where it's like he's cooking wings and he'll show you how to make blue cheese.
Oh, binging in Babish is fucking Gordon Ramsay to this guy.
Like it's like, oh, you're making wings? Here's how to make blue cheese and how to make ranch dressing. It's like, I'm probably just gonna buy that at the store. All right, like calm down. Meanwhile, Jack is like, I bought stuff at the store. I'm gonna throw it all together.
Yeah, lazy man. And then he's busy fucking, I don't know, fucking raping his Labrador to death. I feel bad for that Labrador. I feel bad for the dog. I think that dog's gonna die prematurely.
Oh god, did you see his bean salad? Oh. He has a video on salads. When nothing in there is what you would think of when you think of a salad. He has
because we just went for a party cheese salad.
It's just a giant can of beans that he mixes a disgusting amount of mayonnaise in with. Everything with him is just fucking mayonnaise.
Yeah, I consider Jack the quintessential American when you guys tell me English people can't cook.
Well, look, when I say Americans can cook, I always say not the South.
Is he really? I mean, he's really.
Oh,
to be honest,
he is.
Jack is so fat. He's north, south, east, and west.
He's the turtle that the flat world rests on.
He's a combination of every fucking. He's like, yeah. We got. Is there seven? Yeah. Is there 7 sins? Is Jack sloth or late? No, he's all sins. He commits everything. It's like, yeah, I beat my son, and I like to lie about chili contest, and yeah, I've got fucking Aunt fucking Miner's fucking party cheese salad.
God, Aunt Myrna's party cheese salad.
I'm sorry, beans on toast gets a fucking. I get an escape clause from that. Anytime someone says that, I'm just saying, I'm just gonna whisk him to an American party cheese salad.
Ugh. God.
It's
funny too when people are watching that too, and as soon as he like lays out all the ingredients, they're like, Jesus Christ. I can't begin to imagine what Aunt Myrna's party cheese salad is like, because here's the thing. Sometimes, I know we made fun of Napoleon with his like peanut butter and cheese, but sometimes when you take two things that seem like they shouldn't go together, they're actually great. That can happen a lot. That said, though, it's different, though, when you take, like, half a dozen fucking things, all of different flavors and textures. That's when you create just a fucking cacophony in your goddamn mouth. Like,
right. Do you know the best way of describing it is? It's like, you know when you do paint at school and you mix too many paints and you get that brown sludge? That's what Aunt Marna's fucking party cheese salad is.
It's like I can't. How would your brain process all those textures and flavors at the same time? It's like arcane forbidden knowledge. Like you take a bite out of it and you've summoned the old gods.
Yeah, do you know what? I actually unironically want to make that fucking salad.
Okay, people. Azalea Rosa in the chat is mad at me for shitting on the South. She goes, "What about Cajun cooking?" Look, New Orleans is not the South. Just so we're clear, okay? It's like Southern Florida. It's no longer the South. If voodoo is the number 2 religion on the census, it's no longer the South. It's something else entirely culturally. And yes, Cajun cooking is fucking awesome. I'm talking about the South. I'm talking about Bible Belt, unironically still think Larry the Cable Guy is funny fucking South, all right?
We're talking about Southerners who are so Southern they actually have French accents.
Yeah, no. When everybody has a French accent and voodoo is the number 2, that's like saying Southern Florida, where everybody is like Cuban or gay or Jewish is the South. Like
they're
no.
so South. They're so South they could be an extra in True Detective.
Yeah, it's not. That's not South anymore. That's not the South anymore. All right. That's culturally something else entirely.
But I'm so Eldrick fan. Buttermilk pie. That does actually sound a bit English.
Buttermilk pie? Yeah, I don't know about that.
Mitchley Witchy Poff. Can we have some buttermilk pie? Even Spice Weasel sounds a bit too English.
Tex-Mex. People also said Tex-Mex. That's not the South. That's Tex-Mex.
Yeah, that's fucking Mexican and Texas food.
Let me put it this way.
Faggot.
If fucking Cracker Barrel isn't trying to recreate it for its menu, it's not Southern cooking. Okay?
I'm sorry, if someone said Tex-Mex, that's like saying, yeah, well, some American food. Oh, yeah, Canadian American.
So it says Louisiana isn't the South and Pennsylvania isn't the North. Fine. I don't... Okay. Fine. Fine. Pennsylvania's something else. I'm not going to act like Pennsylvania's particularly good food either. Like, trust me, central Pennsylvania, this fucking area where I live, niggas don't know good food, all right? Sorry to tell you. All this nasty-ass fucking Dutch kitchen fucking Amish cooking, it's disgusting. You got to go to Philly to have any hopes to find motherfuckers that have no good food. And even there, it's touch and go. The only good thing about this area is there's tons of New York-style pizza places. I'm pretty sure because they're money laundering fronts.
Sorry,
Yeah,
I'm just
Southern cooking
arguing
is
with...
trash. I'm sorry to tell you. I'm sorry to tell you, South. Grease is not a spice. Right? Lard is not a spice.
Yeah, but Southern's mixed, though. You can't exactly say Northern. I mean, I'd still fucking kill half my country for a Philly cheesesteak, but...
Yeah, a Philly cheesesteak's fucking awesome. A real one.
I've had a real one. The guy from was Boston. He's from that place in the fucking north, you see.
When he says Beckhoff is a Frenchman, he likes snails and boiled ox testicles. I do not like either one of those things.
No, he's
French
German.
cooking is pretty fucking overrated. Like,
oh, yeah. Do you know
genuine French cooking, it's all right. It's certainly better than British cooking. But it's certainly not Italian cooking. It's not Mediterranean cooking, that's for fuck sure.
Well, I'll say this right now. Italian isn't European. I think Italy deserves its own class. I think when someone says, oh,
Italian
it's European
or Greek
cooking,
that's where it's at.
Greek's a weird mix, though. You're talking about like a gyro, because gyro is fucking nice, but there's also a mix, because then you also fall into Turkish cooking. Turk roaches are their own fucking breed.
Yeah, that's...
Like, I love a kebab. Kebabs are nice.
That stuff's getting a little iffy.
Like, Italian food deserves its own. I think French cooking is over. Like, French onion soup is nice, gatto is nice, but everyone says, "Oh, French is the best food." No, Italy is the best food in Europe. Fuck off with the French stuff. If someone says, "Oh, what about these French legs?" I'm like, "Fuck off with frog legs."
So he said, General Sherman had no choice than to burn those fields because he needed to save the world from Southern food. Unironically agree. In fact, I don't call it the Civil War. I don't call it the War of Northern Aggression. I call it the War of Southern Inferiority.
Oh God!
I don't think
we streaming.
I don't think we were hard enough on them.
Yeah, you didn't import enough fucking Irish immigrants to throw into the meat grinder.
we needed more.
Yeah, we need more dead Irish immigrants. I agree with that. Fuck the Irish. Irishman.
That point says, "Oh, Beckloff, you're goddamn European now. Go back to your side of the ocean and eat sprigs and parsley and enjoy the clot shot. That side of Greece with your country ham is the taste." Man, I don't want to hear it. You live in Mexico. Don't give me the don't fucking salute the flag, Captain America, you expatriate motherfucker.
Yeah, fucking Taco Bell migrant.
You live in a country that knows good food. They don't have decent drinkable water, but they know good food.
Best food is Japanese and Mexican. I don't do sushi. Fuck off.
No,
Fucking
sushi's
raw.
disgusting. Japanese food in general, though, is pretty good.
Yeah, katsu stuff. But this is why I fucking hate. It's almost like when people stereotype Chinese food with like fucking dead cats and stuff. I'm like, no, Chinese food's fucking nice. Just same like Japanese food.
Well,
katsu,
I mean,
curry
a lot of
is
those
nice,
little
but...
greasy food Chinese restaurants are kind of shit. But that's just
Oh
more
yeah,
like,
no shit. Yeah, just like
that's just
greasy
more because they're
spoon
just
things.
greasy spoon, shitty hole in the wall restaurants.
Yeah, and the food in general. I mean, it's like fucking yeah. I think Italian food has still probably got the fucking heavy. Like you could literally, a woman could literally step on a fucking pepperoni pizza and I'd still fucking eat it. But pizza is probably still
But
probably
enough
the
about
king of the
James'
world.
fetishes.
Yeah, I'm not into feet.
And James is like, in fact, could a woman do that, please?
Yeah, please step on my fucking. Yeah, step on my.
Step on my
czar.
pepperoni pizza and let me lick the
Yeah.
grease off your
Yeah,
foot.
turn my pizza into a czar with how flat it's gonna be.
What's the redhead e-girl that like her husband was like beating
Oh
her or
fucking
something?
is it Almaroff? I can't pronounce names.
Yeah, somebody get her to step on my pepperoni pizza.
Yeah, step on my pepperoni pizza. I think Azalea Rose is on her period, and that's the politically correct way of saying it. I do love her though.
Well, I think I'm gonna probably wrap this up because I'm not getting no super chats, y'all, and I'm a whore, and I need the money. It's about the money, okay? I'm like Steven Crowder. It's about the money. You didn't send me enough money, so I recorded our conversation. I'm gonna put you on blast.
That wasn't about the money. It was about the dick sucking. If you're talking about fucking Crowder.
It's not about the money. It's about sending a message, and he puts a dick in his mouth.
You got to hide the. It was a phase. It was a bisexual Bulbasaur phase. Mr. Bulbasaur.
Well, look, I mean, what can I tell you? The $20 he gave me, $20 is $20.
Yeah, that actually reminds me. Funny enough, the best fucking picture I actually fucking balled out was Clary on Instagram. He had $20 is $20 with the fucking t-shirt.
Hey, Rose, it says, "Are you saying the only reason I chew your asses out is because I'm on my period?" I mean, look, I'm not saying that, but I'm not saying that. I love how mad women get when you say, "Oh, you're just on your period." I still that still never gets old to me. Why is your girlfriend me? I don't know. She's probably just on her period. And you say that when you know she can.
Do you know the best way to respond to that is though? Just end the show, just close it, and just give no response. Just let it stew, and then we get about 5 ats on the Discord.
I mean, look, I don't blame you. If it was blood coming out of my dick, I'd be in a bad mood too.
Yeah.
I'd be a cranky motherfucker. I don't blame you. Look, it's not my fault God hates you and have cursed you. It's terrible.
Yeah. You shouldn't have deep throated that fucking apple, you whore.
Yeah, you could have eaten all the other trees. You just had to go for that one.
Yeah, you still had steak.
Should have
You
cooked the
still had
snake and
wings.
eaten him.
There was no denying there was probably still buffalo wings in heaven.
Or
Or
I could have just
Eden.
chopped the tree down. Oh no, you weren't allowed to touch it. But if you're touching it with an axe, does that count as touching it?
No, you couldn't have eaten it. You could have ground it up.
Just burn the tree.
Yeah, imagine actually you're in Eden and they say, yeah, don't eat from the tree. And imagine your God, 1 hour later you come back and they burnt the tree down and said, yeah, there's no temptation anymore.
Problem solved.
Yeah. Or worst case scenario, yeah, we fed the apple to like a fucking hamster.
Does that count? We didn't even touch it. We held the hamster up to the apple.
Yeah, the hamster just schizos out, vibrates for 10 seconds, and just leaves reality.
Zay Rosa says, next time I'm shoving that apple down your throat deeper. Look, that just gets me to normal.
Yeah. Yeah, Beklov did say he was a pig once. That's not the best thing to do.
Don't judge me. Cynic and Chief says pregnancy makes your hormones go wonky. I always remember that Greg Giraldo line where he goes, I don't know if you've ever been around a pregnant woman, but they make non-pregnant women seem reasonable. All right. Well, Azalea Rose said she needs to get back to cooking terrible Southern food, so we should probably wrap this up. She needs to go back to making her boiled pig feet.
Yeah, she's gonna fucking attract bears to this stream.
Okay, well, I think we should wrap this up. Folks, if you're not listening live and you want to send a donation, streamlabs.com/Beckloff, paypal.me/Beckloff. Send a donation when I'm not live, and I'll see it when I am live. And that's about it.